both of whom can't go into churches without vomiting.
That's right. We're back. We're back. We're back.
We have to sort of get people wanting more.
Yeah. Season 17, man. Season 17. Holy crap.
I think Terry's a little bit impatient there, buddy.
You know what? It's good to see Terry, period. I mean, like,
I know it's good to see Terry. I haven't seen him in a while.
Where has he been? What alleyways he been hiding in?
I don't know.
What alleyways?
I think he needs an extra. He needs us, he owes us an explanation, rather.
Yeah. So, what's new?
Jail.
What's new, Alex?
Nothing.
There we go. There we
Hey,
go.
that's
That's
to
all
kick
we.
off season 17, man.
That's all we needed to hear, man.
That's
Nothing.
it. That's it.
Now, in all seriousness, how's it going?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah. Are you starting to feel the fall vibes yet?
Oh yeah, I am actually, especially the way the weather's been these past
The
couple days.
weather, man, it's been chilly, man, and
Yeah,
it's been awesome.
it has been
I
awesome.
absolutely love it. This might, I'm all in. I'm
Yeah.
all in. I can't wait
Plus,
for some.
our new house has got a shitload of trees in the back, right? So that adds more ambiance, especially when
What?
the
So
wind blows and you hear the leaves and everything.
so now what is it? Is it a quicker exit to have a paranormal pee in your backyard now?
No, fortunately not.
Paranormal pee. So what did you think of the latest episode of the Dark Woodlot?
You know what? I haven't had the chance to watch it yet.
You haven't watched it yet?
I haven't had the chance. I've just been
Oh
busy
my
this weekend.
god. Yeah,
We
yeah.
actually, Lisa and I had to close out our storage facilities finally. So all
Yeah.
Saturday we spent driving back and forth and basically emptying out the storage units.
Dr. Demon Gord would be awfully upset with you, man.
Well, I'll watch it. Don't worry. I just haven't had the chance yet.
Well, oh, okay. So I'm gonna give a shout out. We've got a lot of people in chat. Wow. Hey, Laura. Hey, Terry. Always great to see Terry. Like it's not a Sunday night without Terry. Where
I
where
know.
have you been, Terry?
Yeah, he said
Terry.
he's in jail.
Yeah. Well, what kind of jail? In Brazil?
Yeah.
A Brazilian jail, right? Lord, Stephen, hey, Mr. Secret Vault himself, Matt, how are you? Joe, Jeff, Exploring Harley, how are you? Barry, good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Who else? I want to make sure I get everybody here. Six all the way from Belgium, I believe, isn't it? Belgium? Belgium.
Where?
I think
What?
the Bud Files. Yeah, Belgium.
Hmm.
I'm probably wrong. I know it's somewhere. I keep asking him that. He'll chime in, I'm sure. Let me just make sure I get everyone. But
Belgium.
yeah, Belgium. I was right. See, I was right. Hey, Cassie, how are you? Weeping Willow. She's going to be on next week on our
She is.
dark discussions. Dark discussions. But anyways, this evening we're kicking the 17th season off. Holy crap, man. 17 seasons. We literally just celebrated its 16th anniversary, but we're kicking off the 17th season. This is because
That's right.
we are split into two, really. I mean, we have a hiatus for the summer and bang, kick off. But it's good to be back,
Officially.
Officially back. We're officially back. You can listen to us obviously on the New Visions Radio Network, or of course watching us here on YouTube or on our Twitch channel as well, which is well, I don't know. I mean, we've got a few viewers over there. I don't know. But yeah, anyways. I'm this is awesome. I'm looking forward to this season. We're really trying to get a lot of different people on the show that we haven't had on the show before. We've always been about getting different perspectives on all things paranormal. I mean, not just ghost hunting. There's all sorts of wonderful weirdness in this huge umbrella we like to call the paranormal, and we have explored a lot of it. But this evening, first time to the show, we've got Dustin Wade of the Wade Manor coming on. Intriguing place, man. I would love to get down and check out the Wade Manor. Have you? Huh?
Just better, or you prefer the red?
No, you're looking a little pale there, buddy. You look like a ghost. You look like a ghost.
I'm supposed to look like a ghost.
Well, look it. Without any further ado, let's bring in Dustin, because it's been a ride. It's been a ride getting him here. Dustin, how are you? Oh, hold on.
Oh,
There you go. There you go. How you doing, man?
Sorry about the ride getting me here, but thanks for having me on.
We're here. No more
And
stress. We're good. We're all good to go, right, buddy?
yeah, we're good. And before I forget, happy anniversary. Congratulations on the 17 episodes, or sorry, 17 years.
Well, 16 years. We're kicking off the 17th season, but yeah,
Yeah.
wow, feels like 17 years.
This is what happens after 16 years.
Yeah, after 16 years, yeah. He gets too comfortable and he starts drinking the hard stuff. No, I'm just
Oh man.
Oh, it's like a paranormal investigation of my house. The beer and the liquor come out first before the rest of the spirits. So
well, yeah,
Wow,
you'll definitely
that's
get
how
the
you can
spirits that way.
you can spot them better when you're in that sort of half state of sobriety and you know.
I use the excuse we got to stay hydrated. I don't know if anyone's going to believe me or not.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay, let's get right into it. Okay, so Dustin, tell us a little bit about the Wade Manor, and then we'll get into the backstory, but a little bit about the manor itself and what exactly is the manor.
Well, Wade Manor was my personal project. It's a house that's approximately 140 years old.
Oh,
It's a
wow.
Victorian era house. And it's literally filled, floor to ceiling. Okay, 4 floors, every kind of haunted item from jails, psychiatric facilities, hospitals, hotels, items that have killed people, items that have negative attachments to them. I mean, I'm always looking for stuff, but I mean, the house is packed. It's like 4,000 square feet.
I've got a crazy old army box here that has some crazy stuff going on.
Well, actually, one of the interesting, I do have military artifacts in my collection.
Oh, yeah?
And, oh, absolutely. I don't actively go out, but I mean, if I see them, I'll pick one up.
Yeah.
I know the history regarding it.
Mhm.
One of the creepiest military items I actually have in my collection. I have a field dental chair from World War II that I restored from hand.
Oh,
And
wow.
and that thing just looks ominous. I mean, it's very rudimentary. Okay, it looks like it's immersed in pain.
I'd hate to know what kind of surgeries were done on that thing. Oh, man.
Yeah,
Wow.
anesthetic would be like just grab the rails and hope for the best kind of a deal.
Oh, yeah. I was like, oh, what's this guy doing to me? No. Oh,
Yeah.
God, that's crazy. So, what is that the most insane? What would you say the most insane sort of object you have in the museum?
It would have to
the
be.
manor?
I have the lobotomy table from the former Lakeshore Psychiatric Hospital.
Oh, no way.
Which was originally called the Mimico Hospital.
Yes, I'm very aware of that place. Yeah.
Yeah, Mimico Hospital for the Insane. And it was patterned after in an Ohio mental health facility. So it's done in the cottage style.
Yeah.
And I used to hang out there as a kid before it was bought by Humber College, and I actually went to school right next to it. And I know at that particular facility, not a lot of artifacts exist. But I have one of them, and that was an interesting find. Certainly interesting.
Speaking of, the old Mimico Hospital, they closed down because apparently they couldn't hold on to Alex.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. He was one of those guys on that lobotomy table.
I was a survivor of the lobotomy.
You were a survivor, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So why the manor? I mean, you said personal project. So what brought you to bringing this to life?
I mean, I needed a place to live. I was living in Toronto, and in 2010, I had enough money saved up between that and some other money, and basically I needed a place to stay. I needed a place to live, like put down stakes. Real estate was already being snatched up in the GTA, Cambridge, Kitchener, Waterloo. So I was looking every day for about 2 to 3 hours on MLS. And I didn't really want to go any further than Cambridge, but I noticed this house in Woodstock and it just wouldn't sell. And the price just kept coming down and coming down. And then one day I said, you know what? I got to check it out. And I went in, I walked in the door, I had my mom with me, and she goes, I think this is your house. And I'm like, No kidding. But so, and then it just started from there. I had nothing when I bought the house. I had a few donated items like a bed, a couch for my mom. But in all, like every penny I had was sunk into buying this Victorian home. And within the first week I was there, weird things were happening, like the very first week. So, I mean, and it just 13 years later, I'm still here and I've just created this little haunted utopia, for lack of a better phrase.
So it's been in business for 13 years.
No, like I just opened it up to the public.
Oh, okay.
I just opened it up to the public last year, but I've been working on the house consistently.
Oh, consistently. Okay.
A year or two where I wasn't able to for financial reasons. And then when COVID happened, it shut a lot of stuff down.
Yep.
But I mean, I was a picker before.
Mm-hmm.
So I always bought and sold antiques.
Yeah.
And, when you start to do this and you do this for a living,
mm-hmm.
You're going to get into that situation where you have to make those executive decisions where you find something in a cupboard, you find something in a box or whatever, and you know what it is, and you have to go, okay, I'm going to pretend I didn't see that, or I'm going to buy it and I'm going to sell it. I'm going to keep it, whatever. And I was always one of those guys that, my history professors were my heroes, and they really drilled into me, like, how important history was in preserving history. So when that happened to me that first time, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to roll with this.
Well, I've looked it over and I'm like, yeah, I would definitely love to visit. Now hey, Parabeat Lounge, is that Dominic? Hey, Dominic. So, it's not only sort of a museum into the occult and the paranormal and the weird and all that. You have opened it up to allow people to come in and investigate it as well, right?
Absolutely. Walking Among Us were the first group to investigate the house several months ago. And then Paranormal XP followed suit not too long after that.
Yeah.
And then so that I was really fortunate to have both those groups in. Mm-hmm. And then Angelo, and Jeff. So, exploring Harley.
You actually left that guy in your front door. Are you nuts? Yeah, Jesse.
I was nuts, and when he found out, he didn't hold it against me, so I wasn't going to hold it against him.
Jeff's a good guy. We love Jeff. Yeah, actually, I think it was because of Jeff that I actually Jeff was telling me about the place, and I looked into it, and that's, I guess, how I reached out and made contact with you and said, hey, I'd love to have you on the show to talk about this, because it's you don't see too much of this, north of the border. You really don't.
No, you don't. It's and I found even when I've opened it up to people, it's a very polarizing thing because people run hot and cold. Either they're really into it or they're like, oh my God, I got to get out of here as quickly as possible, and then they never come back. But if that's the case in the latter, I don't hold it against him. I'm a really weird cat, for some reason I'm able to handle these objects and they don't bother me. I've had a couple psychic mediums tell me that I have some kind of gift where I'm able to handle these things and live amongst them, and just it doesn't bother me. There's something. It's just I'm able to handle like a wrench or whatever, whereas them being around it just makes them nauseous. It gives them bad feelings. So I'm very conscious when I say, like, if it's not your thing, it's okay. Like, there's no judgment on my end. I understand it's a niche market, and I'm kind of a niche guy. So,
yeah, well, I think that's cool. I mean, I find myself like that too. I think outside the box, and a lot of people will look at you and go, why? And you know what? Because it makes people wonder. It makes people wonder, and you're asking the question, why? And I'm telling you, even if I did tell you why, you probably wouldn't understand it anyways, right? I mean, people, it kind of harkens back to, what is normal, what's abnormal or paranormal, if you will.
Mhm.
And in this day and age, realistically, what is normal? What is
Well,
normal? You know?
like that's the thing. I mean, I've always been kind of weird and left of center, and God bless my mom for dealing with me. She's a retired Sunday school teacher, so you can imagine what she's
Oh
rolled her eyes.
wow, yeah.
Yeah, she's rolled her eyes. I remember the one time that she was in the basement. I brought home the first embalming table, and she goes, "What?" Yeah, and she's leaning on it. I'm kind of smiling. She goes, "What is this?" I said, "It's an embalming table, Ma." And she goes, "Is mine going to be prettier?" I'm like, "I don't know." Go in the home, and I want you to make sure it's nice, okay? Like nicer than the one you got. Yes, mother. Okay, sure. So she's starting to get, okay. She's starting to pick up on what I'm like. So she's more accepting of it than she was when I initially started collecting items of that magnitude. So
would you say that's the weirdest object? I mean, what's the okay?
Oh no. I mean, I have like 3 embalming tables. That's not by far the weird. I think one of the most. I have a. I guess I can. Well, I have a paddle that almost killed a guy. It was used by a fraternity. I'm not going to name the fraternity, but they beat this guy to death and they put him to bed. Yeah, in a drunken during a hazing. And that was pretty rough. I have an electroconvulsive therapy machine. So yeah, so you know what that was used for.
Yeah.
Oh, and
Massage.
Yeah, massage.
yeah. So there's a lot of things. It's just a matter of I'm at that point where it's like, okay, like weirdest thing medical, weirdest thing haunted. I mean, like I got doors from the Don jail. I got a toilet from the Don jail. I got stuff from Kingston Penn.
Wow.
I mean, there's all sorts of stuff. Like, I mean, you go into any room and I'm usually like, just point to something and I'll tell you the history of it.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much how it is. Like when I conduct tours, I'll be like, okay, this is the essentials of the room, et cetera, et cetera. But if you're interested in a particular object, point it out because I don't write anything down. It's all just
cataloged in your memory.
Yeah, I mean, not to the degree that it used to be, because again, the collection is so immense now. Like I'm at that point where I'm like 50 years old and I've been doing this for almost 30 years. It's like, occasionally I'll forget, where the hell did I get that? I know what it is. Where did I get it? I can't remember. But 9 times out of 10, if you get me on a good day, I'll remember where I got it. So
what are some is there objects that you'd like to add to this? I mean, is there something that you're actively scoping out to add to the collection?
Yeah, like you never stop collecting. I was at a point a long time ago where just based on space alone or the lack thereof, when something cool comes in, something less cool has to leave. Space depending. Like I remember I gave one of my coworkers, I had a medical cabinet from the Don Jail Infirmary.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I don't have the space for it anymore because I got to bring something else in. And I already have like 3 items from the Don. So do you want this? And she's like, yeah, sure. So yeah, you're only limited by space. I never really actively stopped looking. I mean, I'll go through periods where it's like, I'll buy, and then move stuff around and maybe finish a room. And, so like, but I don't actively look. But I mean, I'm always, I have my feelers out there. I have people that know what I'm interested in. They know what I like. And, I'll get a phone call. Hey, you're not going to believe what we got. I'm like, okay, well, if you got some provenance to it, I'm interested. And I get it at the right price. I'm interested.
Yeah, and you hear about all these places, that house haunted objects.
Mm-hmm.
Primarily just haunted objects. Like every object has its story, claiming that has a haunting. It will haunt you and whatever else. These stories will, chill your bones or whatever. But I mean, okay, so I'm sure you have a collection of things that, like you said, are probably have some sort of nefarious background to them. Now, living amongst these, I mean, have you had any really weird incidents happen?
Well, that's the thing that kind of separates the wheat from the chaff. People get creeped out by the fact that I live with the items. I sleep next to them. I live
Yeah.
there all over. You know, and you look at people like more well-known collectors like Zach Bagans has his museum. He doesn't have any of those items in his house. And prior to Zach Bagans, you know, the late Ed Lorraine Warren, they had a separate building on their property where they warehoused all those items. They didn't bring their items into their house.
Yeah.
But for me, I've always just brought them in and I've able to coexist with them in a rather harmonious way. And again, I don't know if that's part of my spiritual makeup. I don't know if that's part of my chosen faith, but I firmly believe that if there are items in the house that have negative attachments to them, they understand what my personality is like. And it's not a very poke the bear, immature kind of mentality. You know, they understand I'm essentially a curator. So when I'm giving a tour and I'm talking about something, and say for example, I'm going over the door of the Dawn jail.
Yep.
And someone oh, that's cool and it's creepy, and I'm very conscious to say, now remember, this isn't just a door. This is a barrier that separated good from bad, evil from, and there are people that were behind that door that would, they would cut your eyes out for a pack of smokes. So when you start putting stuff like that into perspective, it really brings things to your attention. And for me, because I feel like I'm a curator to those items, I think if there's attachments to them, they understand that, I'm telling their story on their behalf.
Yeah.
So I can tell you, I've never been hurt in the house. I've never been pushed, punched, shoved, scratched. But I can tell you that there have been people that have been, specifically women. And I had a psychic medium in the house telling me that there was a woman in the house and she doesn't like it when women mistreat me. So, that's kind of interesting.
Wow, that is really weird.
Yeah.
Have you gotten anything from the Kingston jail? I know that building's still being used for like tours and all, but a lot of the stuff that used to be there are gone now. I know my wife and I went there and did one of the tours not too long after they closed the jail down, and they had a lot of stuff there. The second time we went there, a lot of stuff was gone.
Well, you're talking about Kingston Penitentiary in particular, right?
Yeah.
Well, 6 degrees of separation. A lot of people don't know this. I went to school to be a correctional officer and I wasn't hired on. So that was over 25 years ago. And my recruitment officer was retiring from Kingston Penitentiary. His name was Howard Ferguson. And, but I remember years ago, I was managed to get some stuff out of Kingston. I got some of the surveillance equipment out of Kingston Penitentiary. I got one of the horns, one of the part of the sound system from one of their former chaplains, some leg irons. And then when I got the surveillance equipment, there were a couple of VHS tapes left in there. So God only knows what's on. Yeah, God only knows what's on them.
Yeah, exactly.
But you'd be surprised what you're able to get. It's just out there floating around, and sometimes with the provenance to go with it, which is great. Because, like I said, when I was a buyer, when I bought and sold for a living, you would hear a lot of huckster stories. Oh, this was owned by Ulysses S. Grant, and this was owned by, and you would always ask, okay, well, do you have any provenance on it? Do you have any? And well, no. Well, then that for me, that was enough to say thanks, but no thanks. I like to have that direct correlation, that proof. So I think that's what makes a lot of stuff in my house not so typical of the stuff that's out there, because I can prove beyond a shadow of a doubt where it came from.
Yeah, I mean, that's, definitely you want to have that sort of reassurance that, exactly what you're purchasing is exactly what they're claiming it to be. Absolutely. And when you go back and you think about some of these objects and where they came from and what they're used for, and the period that they're used for, they must hold some sort of negative energy around them. So we're talking about objects from around the world, or primarily here.
95% of the objects in my collection come from Ontario.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a huge,
Keep it local.
Yeah, I've always been like that in anything I do. Keep it local, keep it in your backyard, preserve your own history first and foremost, because again, it's right in your backyard. And don't get me wrong, if someone offered me items from somewhere else and I was able to, find a home for them somewhere in the house, I would. But to me, it's always paramount you preserve your own history first.
Absolutely.
So pretty much everything I have, almost everything I have, 95% of what I have, I'd say, is from Ontario.
What was that? There was what was the name of that place now, Alex? Maybe somebody will. What camp? What was it? Camp 31?
Is that the spy camp?
Where they held the German hostages during World War II. Was it World War II?
Yeah, it was World War II, I think. Yeah.
It's out there by Coburg, I think, isn't it? Coburg, Ontario, somewhere around there.
I could be wrong, but didn't Tommy Tombstone investigate that place?
I don't know if he did. Maybe he might have. I have no idea if he did. But I was just going to ask: is were you able to get some objects from that place?
No. I mean, nothing's really come across my my way from that place. It'd be nice. It certainly, if someone could, and I'd certainly be interested in it if it had some kind of some direct correlation to it. But there have been a few places where it's like, damn, that just slipped through my fingers. And I hate it because it just keeps me up at night. It's like, oh, maybe I'll get it down the road or a part of it down the road. That actually happened to me years ago. There was a cigarette machine. Okay. And when I say cigarette, so we're talking like 60s, 70s one, and it was in an old hotel. Okay. And a murder took place there. What had happened was there was a police officer. He pulled over a fire chief for drunk driving. Okay. And charged him, obviously. And anyways, his life fell apart, and then he knew that the police officer and his friends drank at that particular hotel. And about a year later, he walked in one day and they were all there, and blew the police officer's head off right next to the cigarette machine. Oh, wow. So, and I knew, and so anyways, years later, when that place was getting sold and shut down, they were liquidating the contents, and this was way north. So I had no way of getting the thing down, but I eventually was able to get the marquee from the place, from the actual, and it had a very specific marquee of Niagara Falls on it. I didn't get the whole machine because before I got to it, someone had bought it and then pieced it out, which was, they pieced it out. Yeah, it was a very historic, pieced it out, but I got the marquee. So the marquee is kind of like, okay, well, at least I got the marquee off it, that was an example of, I couldn't get to it, but then I got to it down the road somewhere.
Those things were cool, man. And we're talking about the ones that were you used a button and you had to pull it out and it would drop the smoke.
Yeah, very clunky. You would be like 16. You go into a bar or whatever. Hey, my mom needs smokes. There's a couple of quarters. You pull a thing. Yeah. So I mean, it was one of those ones, but it was it's interesting. Like it's one of those scenarios where it's like you don't know. I mean, it looks pretty innocent. It's a cigarette machine, right? Well,
but that's the thing. That's what I think about places that I've investigated, and especially some of these abandoned places that have objects still in them, and you sit there and you go, wow, what did these objects witness? What were these objects a part of? If these objects can talk, and maybe they can, we just don't know they can, right? The stories that they'd be able to tell are just incredible. And if there was only a way outside of, okay, well, look, I have a little bit of a background history on this object, but not the exact, you don't know, was there a murder? Somebody died right by it or whatever, like you're saying with the cigarette machine, right?
Well, I mean, and keep in mind some of the more nefarious items, like you would say, like the the shackles or the leg irons or whatever.
Mhm.
That's generational illness.
Yeah.
That's generational badness. Like how many, bad people have worn those. So, I mean,
yeah.
By the way, I think it's Camp 30 in Bowmanville.
Camp 30. That's it. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. That place, it was, what was it? It was, for a while, it was an OPP field office for a while. And then it was turned into a school, I believe, and now it's just, it's abandoned now.
I thought I read somewhere that it was used as a training facility for the police.
For the OPP, yeah. Training facility, yeah.
No.
Now. Oh, you're talking about now, currently.
No, back in the back
in the day, yeah. The OPP, it was a field office, yeah. And a training office, yeah. And then they moved out, and I guess I forget what kind of, it was some type of school for a little while, and then they abandoned the place.
Former Bowmanville Boys Training School, Camp 30, National Historic Site of Canada.
Wow.
So it was some kind of training school. Yeah.
Yeah, and I believe during the Second World War, they actually had some captive German soldiers.
Yeah, during World War II. Yeah.
World War II.
It was a POW camp in the World War II.
POW camp, exactly. Yeah, that would be pretty cool to get some objects from. Yeah. So, okay. So getting back to the paranormal investigative sort of side of things.
Mhm.
What does, if somebody's, interested in say, hey, Dustin, I would love to investigate the manor. What would one have to go? What direction? Where would they go to say, hey, look, how do I do this?
They can contact me through Instagram. They can contact me through Facebook. That's the thing with all my accounts. On Facebook, I'm Wade Manor Haunted Museum, has its own page. On Instagram, I have my personal account, which is at Brother of the Dust. And then my business account is linked to that, which is at Wade Manor Woodstock. So anytime you access any of those pages, you like direct messages, whatever, that's me talking to you. I'm a one-man operation. With the exception of my merchandising, I get a lot of help for that because I'm not artistically inclined.
Mhm.
But all they have to do is just contact me, and I charge by the hour. I don't have like a set fee. So if someone wants to come in and they only want to do 3 hours as opposed to a whole night, I'll work with you.
Yeah. I put the link in chat, and of course all the links are in the show description. So you can find Dustin's Wade Manor Woodstock Instagram there. And I believe I put up your YouTube as well.
Thank you.
Your YouTube channel's available as well. So people can subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow you on Facebook Instagram to find out more information. So if you're interested, contact Dustin. It's and Woodstock's not far from me. I mean, it's just down the 403 for me.
Yeah, it's not Woodstock. We jokingly refer to it as Hoodstock because
Hoodstock. Yeah.
Like I said, look for the nicest house in the worst part of town, and you'll find my. But I mean, and for people that want to investigate that, there's plenty of parking. I got a huge driveway, so parking isn't an issue. I mean, if you come with like 3 or 4 or 5 cars, that won't be an issue either. Mm-hmm. I know that when Paranormal XP and the other. Walking Among Us, all the other groups, they all came with multiple vehicles. So, I mean, you don't have to worry about parking and all that. So
have any of the groups been pretty successful in any evidence or findings or anything?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm not going to give away the game. There were a few moments where I had like I've said this online, but holy shit moments, where even I was like, you got to be kidding me. Really?
Yeah.
Because I'm very I look for I love specifics.
Yeah.
Drop something in my lap that's so obvious. It's like hitting me with a sledgehammer. You can't, right? So, and that's happening. And I try not to, people have asked, like, can you, post more stuff, like do something more like spirit box stuff from your house and all that. I try not to do that because I don't want to adversely affect the investigations, because again, when people come in, I don't want to give them any preconceived ideas of what's here, and I want them to do the discovering themselves. So I post a little bit here and there, but on the whole, I want to give all the glory to the teams that come in and the investigators that come in. I don't want to muddy the water. I like to say I'm just a caretaker. Every once in a while, I'll put something out there, but on the whole, I try and stay back.
Okay, let me just pin that to the top. And for those who want to sub to your YouTube channel, and there we go. And it looks like, a few people have said they've subbed to it already. So there you go.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Every little bit helps.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions or whatever for Dustin, we'll absolutely throw those out to Dustin as well. So if anybody in chat has a question, just type it in bold so we catch it. Hey B, how are you? So type it in bold and we'll get that off to him.
Have you ever done any seances in your house, Wade? Or Dustin, rather?
Not a Victorian style seance. That probably somewhere down the road, but I mean, like if they use spirit boards in the house, yes. Divining rods, yes. But like an actual seance, no. I put an offer into someone to do a seance, but I think they were already booked in advance because I was hoping to do a seance on Halloween. But it actually worked out anyways because I'm going to have a group coming back the last week before Halloween. So there's going to be activity in the house. There's going to be another investigation in the house.
So, okay. Sorry, go ahead, Alex.
No, I was just to say that would be a cool thing to experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm game for that. Sure, why not?
Yeah. So diving deeper into the history of the manor, though. I mean, you're saying 140 years old. I mean, anything crazy out of the norm with the history of the house?
The first thing I did when I purchased the house, I did a thorough investigation of the house using municipal records.
Okay.
I could not find anything media wise. When we're like a Fox Hollow Farm kind of a deal, all over the place, and everyone knew what it was. So there was nothing. Whatever happened or whatever's transpired within the house, it never made the media. Here's what I can tell you about the house. It's listed at 1900. However, municipal records, from what I'm told by municipal clerks, they were typically, if they weren't assured, they would round up as opposed to down.
Okay.
My neighbor whose home was next to mine, he researched his house, and the same materials that built his house built my house, and he was able to accurately date his house to around 1860.
Oh wow.
So I say typically it's like probably like at the bare minimum 124 years old, probably more like 140 something years old. And it has all the trappings of a Victorian home, the crown molding, the servant staircase, the stained glass windows. And I've tried to preserve those as much as possible. Although when I did buy the house, there was a lot of, they went through that period where, I've got to paint everything white. And I'm like, God, why? But yeah, the house is at least that old. And here's what else I can tell you. Originally it was crown land. The land was sold to a gentleman, and then he immediately sold it to a gentleman by the name of Dr. Levi Hoyt Perry. So Dr. Levi Hoyt Perry was our town's first physician. He was an American who came up here during the war. He fell in love. He settled. He had kids. And with the exception of one token reference in the history books, which called him a, quote, man of questionable piety and virtue, whatever that means, unquote. And one contentious issue with the church, I could not find anything bad about him. So he owned a large stretch of land, which would have included my home. In researching the actual residents themselves, it seemed like there were several families who owned it for 30 or plus years. However, it seemed like almost every year there was a new resident in and out of that house. So, which leads me to believe, and my neighbor to believe, who researched his house, that my house was all likely a rooming house at one point, because there's a rail station just down the street, and Woodstock was originally a rail station.
Yeah.
If you worked the rails, you were gone Monday to Friday, and then you'd pop in on the weekend, and then you'd be gone again. So there was probably a lot of people in and out of this house, because when I purchased the house, it still had the original floors, and they were beyond salvageable. They were just you're literally walking on splinters. So yeah, so this house saw a lot of traffic, a lot. And there was an in the attic space, there was a full bath, which leads me to believe that would have been where the servants lived at one point during the Victorian era, because the house has, I've mentioned previously, the house has servant stairs. So the manor would have been considered an upper middle class abode, which means it would have had probably 1 or 2 live-in servants, just on the outskirts of Van Sittert Avenue, which has the most palatial estates in Woodstock. So yeah, who would have owned this house? Sure as hell wouldn't have been me. No, it wouldn't have been me. It would have been someone like a business owner, like a hotel owner, someone of means. Maybe not, like a lumber baron or a coal baron, but it would have been someone of, financial means.
No, B's asking, any ghosts that you know of?
I've seen shadow figures in the home. And the evidence that I've seen, leads me to believe, and again, that one psychic medium said that they're female. I've heard a little girl's voice in the house several times. I've heard muffled conversations while I was in the kitchen coming from upstairs, and it sounded like a woman talking. But I've never, outside of that, no, I've never heard really any voices. It's been stuff that's stuff getting moved, phantom sounds. It went through this weird period where it liked to tap things. Like I would be, yeah, it would, and it got to a point where I called it waving.
Waving.
Yeah, it was just saying, "Hi, it's me." Like I remember one time I was going, I sit in the sitting part or the living room. So in Victorian parlance, it's called the drawing room.
Yeah.
And I'd be back and forth watching TV. I'd go to the fridge, get a beer. And I remember this one time I came back and I heard a clink, and I looked up, and the brass chandelier, the original brass chandelier, was just doing this.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm like 5'7". I know I didn't hit my head on it. So what the hell? It certainly wasn't a gust of wind because there's no wind in the house, right?
Yeah.
But that's just one of an endless amount of weird, unexplainable stuff that's been going on for 13 years in the house.
Wow, that sounds cool.
It would be good to see if something were to happen now on the show live.
Yeah, in the background there.
Yeah.
Well, something I didn't tell you guys, but before we were trying to get everything set up, there was a bang that came from the door just outside of the den. So I don't know if it was playing games with you, or just maybe it was just waving, saying, "Hey, I know what you're doing. I know you're gonna be talking about me."
I know you're going live on some crazy show, man. Hey, Diesel, how are you? Okay, so we got to take a station identification break here for the New Visions Radio Network. Hold tight. Are you ready for a little bit more there, Dustin?
I'm good to go.
All right. Hold tight, guys. We'll be right back. More with Dustin Wade and the Wade Manor. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. You're watching Nocturnal Frequency Radio and listening to us live on the New Visions Radio Network. We'll be right back.
evening. I'm Richard Palmisano, the founder of the Searcher Group. It's a paranormal company, the oldest in Canada, founded in 1979, which not only makes me old, but makes me doing paranormal research and field work for just under 45 years now. I am also an author, researcher, and lecturer on the paranormal. I've written 6 books now, and I really enjoy coming on with Steve and Alex on Nocturnal Frequency Radio, as well as listening to the shows, because there's a lot of interesting guests there. I like it, looking at this stuff, because it opens your mind to other options and other alternative thoughts. There's always time to learn new things. So I hope you join us and come and see Nocturnal Frequency Radio. Thank you.
So let me ask you, what makes for good radio?
My 5 favorite songs all day long.
Play it again.
No.
As many commercials as physically possible.
What? No, why would that be good?
Great music, great talk shows, no commercials.
Precisely. New Visions Radio gives you no commercials, no nonsense, just the best new music and the best talk all day long, 24/7, 365. NewVisionsRadio.com.
Hey guys, Kristen here, host of the Paranormal Girl podcast, a bingeable exploration and deep dive education about the paranormal for the skeptical believer. Some of my past season topics have included shadow people, Mandela effect, demons, and UFOs. Currently, I am tackling Bigfoot. I have been sharing this journey with my audience since early 2021, and I have learned a lot these last few years. It's truly a mysterious world out there beyond our perceptions, and reality is just not what it seems. I have also, since the start, met some awesome folks like Alex and Steve, and I've really enjoyed watching and learning from them and also joining them on their show. Their guests are always outstanding, their listeners are just the coolest, and these hosts are some of my favorite people. I recommend their show to anyone looking for an intelligent and fun conversation about the paranormal amongst friends. So join me on my investigation, join Steve and Alex on theirs, and enjoy. Now back to the show. You are watching Nocturnal Frequency Radio.
And we're back. That you are watching Nocturnal Frequency Radio here live on the New Visions Radio Network and on YouTube and our Twitch channels. Well, you're not actually watching us on the New Visions Radio Network. You're listening to us, but anyways, back here with first-time guest Dustin Wade. Thanks again for joining us, man. I really appreciate it. It's been fun having you so far. So
I appreciate you having me on. I mean,
yeah, it's sounds like quite the place, quite the location, and overall, Alex, you look like you want to say something. I don't know. Either that, or you look very frightened about something.
No, I'm not frightened. No. I just, you know what? I would love to check out the house.
Yeah. No, I would love to come down and check it out. It's not that far.
To come down. You come down on a weekend and hang out. I mean,
yeah,
we should do a live on location show, Steve.
There you go, Dustin.
Game for that. You want to do that? I'll make that.
I'm always game for live on locations.
I'll get you drunk. Put you live. There we go.
Sounds good to me, man. So listen, what the overall reaction to the house since opening it up? I mean, what kind of reaction, overall reaction you getting from people, the general public?
Most of it is positive. Again, it's I'd say it's overwhelmingly positive. You get every once in a while you get someone who, you shouldn't be doing that, you shouldn't be owning stuff like that, et cetera, but by the same token, it's like, if they were the same person, they saw that in a regular, like a federal or provincial municipal museum, they'd be like, oh, that's so cool. So for me, it's like, what's the difference whether it's in a museum like that or in my house? I've never had an issue with it. And again, people have a right to say thanks, but no thanks. But I don't hide what I do. I don't hide what's in my home. I don't feel any guilt about owning anything what I have. And, it's overwhelming response, pretty positive. Again, but we're still relatively in the infancy. I've only been since October last year. We actually had people starting to come in, tour groups and paranormal investigators. It's open for events too. So, it's been slowly making headway now. So.
Yeah. So you're finding more and more attention though now.
Absolutely.
That's cool. That's
and
good.
that's almost exclusively due to the groups that have come in and investigated the house. Walking Paranormal XP, exploring Harley, exploring with Angelo. I owe those people a ton of gratitude because they literally put the place on the map.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of gradually, trickling off from there. So.
Yeah, it's now. Do you think there's ever going to be a period when you just don't have any more room left?
Well, that's already happened. Like,
oh no,
that's happened already. I mean,
wow.
I joke with people. I say that's a great thing about being 5'7", 130 pounds. They don't take up much room, so I can fit more stuff.
Yeah.
So, like this. I'm very careful about if I'm going to let something go. I have in the past donated items with attachments to them or potential attachments to them to people that have explored the house or whatever. But I do it with the understanding that they're of the same mindset and personality type that I am.
Yeah.
When I used to work in the motorcycle industry, it's very much the same thing. There's certain personality types. They have no business riding a motorcycle. So when you get into something of this magnitude, you really, first and foremost, before you take anything into your house, you really have to do an honest to goodness self-evaluation because, once you open that door, you can't, I caution people. I say, if you have any kind of pre-existing mental health issues or addiction issues, if you have like physical issues, like health issues, prolonged health issues that you're battling, or if you're of a poke the bear kind of mentality, like a juvenile mentality, you don't want to be messing with this stuff because if there are attachments to whatever you want to call them, ghost, spirit energy, whatever, if they're attached to those items, they're looking for that in the armor that is whatever you have. And they will gravitate towards that and use that. So, for me, I'm okay with it. I'm a very alpha personality. Very responsible with what I do. And again, in 13 years of bringing stuff into the house, never had one issue.
Wow.
Never had one issue. I've had people get hurt. Where they came over, and I remember one instance where there was my neighbor had come on, my former neighbor, he'd come over with his girlfriend, and she got a little drunk and got a little lippy, and I'm saying, hey, maybe I shouldn't be doing that, and didn't listen. Then the next day he calls me, he's like, oh, she woke up with bruises on her. I said, yeah, and she was getting a little bit lippy. I said, I remember years ago I had a guest crash one of my birthday parties, and I let him in against my better judgment because he had addiction issues. Anyways, we caught him doing something he shouldn't have been doing in the house. So we made him leave. And the next day, when I came down into the basement where the main bar is, Mooney's, the speakeasy, the place had been trashed. The brand new ice machine had given up the ghost. My neon sign didn't work. I found behind the bar in the next room, I found statues turned around, and there was this very heaviness in the air. So whatever was down there saw the way he was behaving. He was not pleased. So I cleansed the house. I put everything back in order, and I said, hey, listen, if you can hear me, he ain't coming back.
Yeah.
I said, sorry that happened, but he ain't coming back. Never had an issue since. But, they do voice their displeasure in one way or another. So.
There you go. So what was your views on the paranormal before the house came into being?
Well, I was raised. Yeah, it's kind of weird. I was raised in a Pentecostal household.
Okay.
I had several ordained ministers in my house.
Okay.
They're my family, my great uncle, my great grandfather.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, they were like 10 missionaries back in the day.
Yeah.
So, you're always raised with that heaven, that Bible verse, to be absent in bodies, to be one with the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
But it was also that analytical part of my head. I understood that maybe I don't know everything. Maybe there's things that we weren't.
Yeah.
So I've always had an open mind since I was a kid. And here's a true story. You're going to love this. This is funny. It goes back to grade school, because when I was in grade school, I went to a school called Dixie Public School in Mississauga, and the librarian's name was Mr.
I know
Smith.
that place.
Yeah.
I know that place. Yeah.
And I went to school there, and I said to Mr. Smith, can I volunteer in the library helping you sort books on my lunch hour? Well, of course, he's not going to say no. This kid's taking an interest. What Mr. Smith did know is there was a section in the library, very small, like maybe about a foot wide, and it was all paranormal books. So
oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So what I was doing was, while I was getting the work done, I would be perusing all these books, and it had like cryptids, Bigfoot,
That's
UFOs.
cool.
So yeah, I wasn't exactly altruistic in why I wanted to do that.
Yeah.
But that goes that far back. I was 6, 7, 8 years old. So I'm 50 now, and I've never really relinquished that interest in it.
Yeah.
I know enough to say I'm stupid. I don't know everything. And, the day I start claiming to know everything, I'm in a world of trouble. So,
yeah, well, I mean, that's the right attitude to have. I mean, you can't, people who claim they know everything and, they're all seeing experts, obviously haven't got a clue what they're talking about. I mean, when you're dealing with this, we're always students. Always students. We're always learning, and people
Speak
just
for yourself, Steve.
Well, yeah. Well, okay, Mr. Know-it-all.
Yeah.
But I think it's to know. I mean, yeah, you've had experiences. You've learned through your experiences. You understand more and more through, the amount of experiences you have. Obviously, you become seasoned, but you don't know everything.
No.
You don't. Absolutely not. So, okay. So what are we talking about for the Halloween season? I mean, are you going to be doing anything, special for Halloween? Is this something that or do you think the house will get really busy?
Well, I said, I know I got a group returning that last week of the week before Halloween. Right now in Woodstock, a part of my partner, Dawn, we have ghost walks.
Oh, cool.
We just started producing ghost walks. So Don is a historian, and he will be conducting the walks. And then so people will gather at my house prior to the walk. He will take them on the walk, and they will return to my house when it's done. So there's a group that's booked for the 22nd, and there's a group that is booked for the 28th. That's in September. And then that'll lead us into October. And then I have the group coming, the paranormal team coming back, walking among us, are coming in October, near the end of October, because that's what their schedule permits. So in between that, it's weekend to weekend. Some weekends there's happening, and some weekends you're kind of like overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was hoping to have like a seance or something of that magnitude. That didn't happen, but I mean, I could always have my very first event was an open house, and that was in October last year. Usually I have like a Halloween party, but after COVID, they just kind of trickled off. There was a lack of interest in it. So last year I said, you know what I'm going to do? My open house is going to be on Halloween. It'll be your one-time shot to come in, see the house for free.
Yeah.
Okay. And I had about 20 people in the house that were interested. It was a really fun night. I had hors d'oeuvres and so on and so forth. So, I mean, we'll see how this year goes, and maybe I'll set something in stone down the road, or just keep the schedule flux. I don't know. I find that sometimes in Woodstock, you really got to play stuff by ear, because either there's interest or there's no interest. And I will say the vast majority of my merchandise sales have been local. Don't get me wrong. But the vast majority of any kind of paranormal investigations, tour groups, it's predominantly been outside of Woodstock. Although they said the tour groups we have here are going to be Woodstock residents. So
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to the paranormal, you're going to get a lot of people. Like I said, there isn't really. I mean, yeah, there are places that are open up to paranormal investigations, but here in Ontario, in Canada, period, it's not like it is in the States.
No, absolutely.
It's not. They're not readily available, or they don't want to open up, and they don't want to have anything to do with, the paranormal. And I mean, there's so much drama with it. People that go into these locations and just give you all this falsehoods and misinformation, and there's so many problems. But yeah, I think that wouldn't be a problem with you, because I mean, you're a pretty responsible guy. You sound like a pretty responsible guy, and it sounds like a really, really cool place to visit, and a really cool place to investigate, man. Really cool place. Well, yeah, Dom in Montreal. Yeah, you want to go to Montreal? Hit up Dom for his tours.
I go to Montreal. I'm not coming back because I had a hell of a time there when I was there 20 years ago. So
yeah, Montreal's a great place. I like Montreal. I love going to Montreal.
I was drunk. I was drunk for a week. It was awesome.
Yeah. But hey, well, Alex, maybe we should hit up Dustin and do a live on location. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Dustin, we're gonna have to talk to you down the road and say, hey, look at
I will make that happen for you.
That'd be awesome. We'd love to do so. We love live on location. I mean, we prefer going into places that have, and we have in the past. Some of the places, well, the Hamilton Guest House.
Yeah.
That place was crazy.
And we had a live audience as well.
And a live audience for that one. Yeah, that was interesting. But I mean, and giving people a sense of, okay, so what, you're in the studio, but when you're live on location, it's a lot different. And you can do more. And obviously, you would be present, you'd be with us on the panel, and who knows, maybe we could do like a seance.
We can do that.
Alex, look at it. Alex has got a big grin on his face.
Yeah.
He's already having ideas.
Yeah, he's got ideas.
I got 3 Ouija boards to choose from, so I can bring all 3.
You could bring them, or you can use the 20 that I got in the house somewhere.
There you go. Yeah, I don't even have to bring them.
Don't tell him you got 20, because
here's what else I have. I have a custom Ouija board table that was made by an artist years ago. It's a one-off. And I bought it when I went down to purchase it from the man.
Yeah.
It's all done mahogany, and it's got skulls on it and all this. It looks very like pagan, witchy kind of.
We're using that one.
And I said, to the guy, I said, are you sure you want to sell this? He's like, bro, I'm an artist. I'll just make another one. I said, okay, because I can't make stuff like this. I don't really have any discernible talents.
Yeah.
But once in a while, I'll pull that out, and it's very creepy. I keep that behind a closet, closed doors, draped. You wouldn't know it's there until I actually got it and took it out. So, but I mean, yeah, you could use that. Even the planchette's made from wood. So. Oh
wow, wood. Yes. There you go, man. There you go. I'm
salivating right now.
This sounds like a really cool idea. I like this.
Yeah, I like it too.
Now you're saying merch because you're wearing one of the shirts now, aren't you?
Yeah, you can kind of. This is the latest one.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that shirt.
This is 1, 2, 3. I think this is model 4. So I just got shipment in. This is, I call it the goth shirt, for lack of a better phrase, because it's got the bat on it. It says Wade Manor Haunted Museum. So I'm every once I got a guy that does my merch for me. So yeah. It's Mama's. If I can throw it a shot, can I throw a shot?
Go ahead. I was going to say, how do people get the merch, your T-shirts and stuff?
On Facebook, it's Mama's Boy Apparel, and he is out of Brampton. And he's actually a lifelong friend. We grew up together as kids.
Yeah.
So he's very talented. He's very professional. And again, it's great because I don't have to do anything. I say, John, I need a shirt. Okay, sure, I'll make it happen. And everything he comes up with is a complete banger, So yeah, I just picked up a shipment of shirts about 2 weeks ago, small, medium, large, extra large, double extra large. So yeah, you can buy them in person. You can e-transfer me the money. The thing is, if I ship them, I got to add on another $20 for the cost of shipping. That's the cheapest I can ship them. But they're quality shirts. They're super soft. They're very durable. I've never had any complaints whatsoever in any of the models, and I've used him exclusively. So yeah, Mama's Boy Apparel, and it's on Facebook, and I believe he's got an Instagram account as well. And you'll see his stuff on my pages, so you can't miss him. And he said very, very professional, very professional. And one less thing for me to worry about, because again, as I mentioned before, I do everything myself. So, it is what it is, right?
There's a testimony right there, Jeff. He's saying, great shirts. I have one real comfy.
Yeah, it made sure he got the, Jeff got the first generation shirt. So that's the one with the casket on it.
Oh, wow. Casket. I like that casket.
So technically toe pincher. It's Victorian style.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
European style. So yeah, he got the second generation, because I had a generation of shirts years ago before I opened the housemaid for a bunch of my friends.
Yeah.
But John, Mama's Boy Apparel, has done the casket shirt. They've done the planchette shirt, so it looks like a planchette for a Ouija board. And now they've just done the goth shirt. So, and then I'm probably in October, I'm going to be bringing in some hoodies. Of course, really practical, right? Because that's when the cold weather's coming in. So yeah, there's always, just when something comes up, I let people know in advance, and then I post it on my pages and say, hey, I picked up a shipment, it's for sale. So yeah, it can sell out quick.
And you know what, if you can, we could do it for you, whatever. Put a little promo, and we could play it during the live shows.
Well, you give me an address, and I'll send you both a shirt for free. So
sure.
Tell me where to send it. Tell me what sizes you need, and I'll send you the latest ones, the bat ones.
Sure.
It'll have the nice little creepy bat on it, the Wade Manor, and yeah, because that's what I do. Anyone who's I've worked with, paranormal investigator or whatever. I mean, yeah, they just take a shirt.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Scratching my back. Also,
I don't mind helping you advertise at all, man. I really don't. But that's what I mean. Like, because look, I mean, Woodstock is not far, and like I said, we don't mind playing promos during the show so people know, right? I mean, sure.
Helps.
Sorry.
Anything helps. I appreciate
anything.
Because like you mentioned before, we're not like the States. And
no.
I wish we were more like the Americans, because they literally they chomp at the bit to help one another. If you look at how many they're connected, and it seems here we're kind of splintered, right? So
absolutely. Yeah, no, we definitely have to talk. I would love to do that. I mean, obviously, if you'd like that, I would love to do like a live on location and whatever else goes with it.
Well, I can make that happen. So no problem. Happen.
We could do it probably towards the end of the season.
The end of the season? What? End of this season?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, kind of maybe not the season finale, or it could be the season finale, depending on how things work out.
A season finale in June?
Yeah. The Manor House?
Sure.
Come on.
I mean,
I have depending with Ouija board night seance. I'll bring the ectoplasm with me.
Oh, the ectoplasm. Yeah, I'm sure you will. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so yeah, it's really cool. Like I mean, yeah, it's really, really sad that things are just so here in Ontario and a lot of parts of Canada. I'm not saying everywhere, but a lot of parts, things do open up and have opened up here north of the border. But yeah, down there, everything is like, wow, okay, somebody finds a place, let's run with it, you know, and people just flock to it. I mean, I don't want to say some of the more notorious ones because, you mentioned their name, it's like, oh my God, but I mean, I've been to a few down there. A whole bunch. I can't count how many I've been down there to investigate them. But I know a lot of people in the chat. Jeff was there at the house investigating. He stayed over, did he not?
Well, you mean my house?
Yeah.
Yeah, he drove right from Quebec, and I think he got to the hotel around 6 o'clock, and then when he got here, he said Angela was coming by, and I was like, well, let's just make it an all-nighter. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that was the latest I'd been up in a long time. I think I was up to like, oh man, like the next day I was hurting. I was I felt every moment of 50 years old that night. But I mean, it was when you're in good company, like the night flies.
Yeah.
You know, I want to make something clear. So when I have investigators in the home, okay, I'm always in the house.
Yeah.
But I'm like a fly on the wall. I know my role. I sit back, I shut up, okay, and I do what I'm told. I'll give you a dissertation of the history of the house. Okay, but like I don't want to get in anyone's way.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm there if you need me, but other than that, I just kind of stay out of your way, kind of a deal.
So,
but I'm always on.
Dom was asking you to the point where you just talked about it. He was asking you if there's room for sleepover.
Oh yeah. There's the master. I have one guest room, but I mean, like the house is massive. So you can like sleep on, there's 2 couches you can sleep, 2 massive couches you can sleep on. There's the guest room. Right now we're broadcasting from the den. I also have I have a medical room. I mean, yeah, there's plenty of places to sleep. And I've had times where it's like, I've had people over and they got a little drunk. Okay, maybe more than a little drunk. And I'm like, okay, well, you're not driving home, so you're crashing. And it's like, oh God, I got to crash in the house, you know? So,
yeah.
But I don't, like once a year I have my best friend come down from Nova Scotia and he spends a week here. But on the whole, I don't get a lot of people wanting to spend the night in the house. I can't possibly understand why.
Oh, that's too much. That's hilarious. Yeah, people would have that. Oh, well, I'm actually amongst some pretty nefarious things here. I don't know if I can handle this. And then when you give them the background, right? When you give them the background of some of the objects that are there, and you're like, oh, okay, maybe I don't want to stay here. How would you like to sleep on the lobotomy table?
Yeah.
No.
Well, I mean, Walking Among Us did an Estes method on the lobotomy table.
Yeah.
So if you actually go back into their episodes, you'll see, Rafe did a Estes method on the lobotomy table. So when he found out I had one, he was like, you got to be kidding me. And I'm like, hey, before they got, because it had been in the garage for a while. I spent the day just going over it with a fine-tooth comb, making sure it was nice and clean. And then like a bed. I tucked it in. It's like, okay, here's your blanket. You know, sleep well. He'll be here in a week. So, but yeah, props to him for Rafe and Krista doing that investigation. And then Rafe saying, I want to be on the lobotomy table because nobody's done that. Nobody.
Wow. Wait. Jeff says he did it. I did it.
Did Jeff do it? I'm trying to remember.
That's what he's saying.
The lobotomy. The lobotomy.
Wait, Jeff. I wasn't supposed to. No. He said in chat. He said I did it.
I can't even remember now because that night was such a whirlwind. Was it the lobotomy table or was it the embalming table? I got so many fucking tables. Pardon my language.
No, that's fine. Everything doesn't matter. We're all good here.
He did the Estes on the embalming table.
Okay, so the embalming table. So it wasn't the lobotomy table,
right?
It was it white because that's the embalming table. One of them, anyways.
Sorry, my mistake. That's all he's saying. So I guess it was the.
Okay, so it was the embalming table downstairs. Yeah, because I have that. I have the lobotomy table that's just stainless steel in the garage, and then I have the porcelain and cast iron embalming table, like early 1910, champion table, and then even earlier than that, I have 2 cooling tables, which were the wooden cooling tables that fold up. So those are the precursors to the modern embalming table. So those were ones that were carried to homes, and when people were embalmed in their homes, like people probably were embalmed in this house. This house is of that age, because not every home or not every town had a funeral home.
Angelo did one in the drainage chair.
Oh, so Angelo did. Oh, that was fun. Yeah. Angelo did the phlebotomy chair, the haunted phlebotomy chair, and he did it in the chair. The back of the chair was facing one of the doors from the Don jail, and he got grabbed.
Wow. He got grabbed.
He got grabbed.
Wow.
So I was like, when he said, oh, I'm going to do an Estes session on that chair, I'm like, man, they must be made of brass, because I've only seen one other person want to sit in that chair. Because here's the history of that chair.
Yeah.
It's a Davis style chair. So a Davis was a particular model chair.
Yeah.
And it was versatile. So that was made into a phlebotomy chair, early 19. So we're talking like Deco era, so pre 1920. I found that particular chair in an open air market, and it was painted like this puke green. Oh my God. So I tried to get the paint off it, and I couldn't. So I called my buddy who runs a body shop, and I said, Bobby, do you know anyone that could sandblast the chair clean for me? And he goes, yeah, I can do it. So I brought the chair to him, and he goes, come pick it up in a week. So I pick it up in a week, and he goes, I got to tell you something. He goes, the guy that does the sandblast at the time, his employee, he goes, my employee at the time was Six Nations, like medicine, spiritual heal, like, Aboriginal, First Nation, Six Nations, sorry. And he goes, I didn't tell him what the chair was. He goes, I was just walking the chair towards him at his bay, and he started doing this. And he's like, what's the problem? He goes, bad energy on that chair. I'm not touching it. And he goes, you're going to do this chair, because this guy's a good customer. So he goes, I came in the shop after the weekend. I walked in on the Monday, and he goes, there was a smell in the shop. And he goes, what the hell's that smell? And there was like a smoke. And he goes, I came around the corner, and there was the employee, and he was smudging the whole place. And the chair was outside. And then he says, you buddy, if he has to bring this thing back, I got to smudge the whole place again. So yeah, that's the influence. Well, I have two of them actually, but that's the oldest one. That's the phlebotomy chair, the older one.
So did he sandblast it clean then?
Well, here's the funny thing. He sandblasted it, but he had two different color primers. Because he said, I ran out of primer when I was doing the thing. So it's like the hair is black and the armrest is gray. Yeah. And I was going to paint it all white. I said, but you know what? It would take away from the actual story. Because you can look at it and go, this is why it's two different colors. Because the guy was so desperate to get it out of the shop.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, if you bring it back, I got to go through all this. Like, I'm not going to do this to that guy. I mean, it was like, he probably hates me for making him do it once. So, but yeah, I took that chair to the 2 years ago on Devil's Night. I did the Witches Vale Night Market in London, Ontario. And I took that particular chair with me. And my God, the looks. Like, I don't think they were ready for that. And there was one, and people were just like, what? Like, they didn't want to touch. And then this one guy, I'll never forget him, this diminutive little, he almost looked like a bookworm kind of guy with big, thick.
Bookworm. I haven't heard that in a while.
He was like a librarian.
Kind of like Alex, right? Bookworm.
No, yeah. minus the glasses.
Yeah.
Like, diminutive, and he had these two girls with him, and he walked by my booth, walked by the thing.
Yeah.
And he looks at me, and he just stopped, and he goes, I'm going to sit in your chair. And I'm like, okay, sure, you can sit. You know what that is? Yeah, it's I'm gonna sit in your chair. So he sat in it, and he just sat upright, and he looked like a king sitting in the thing. But I'm like, yeah, I'm sitting in this chair, nothing bad's gonna happen to me. And meanwhile, his lady friends were absolutely mortified. They're like, oh my God. But he, outside of him and Angelo, and myself, obviously, no one's sat in that chair. Nobody sits in that chair.
Wow.
And then, of course, Angelo sits in it, and he got grabbed. So.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
I'll try to sit in it when we go to do the live on location.
Hey,
you'll try. I like how you say, I'll try.
Oh, you never know, right?
We may not let you, right?
Well, you can sit in it. I'm not saying you're not going to get grabbed. I mean, I tell people, like, it's like buyer beware. Like, when you come into the house.
So when you say grab where?
Here's the setup to the place. Like the chair is in one of my showrooms downstairs, and behind it is the Don jail door, one of the Don jail doors. So after I saw that happen, I was wondering, it's like, you know what do inmates usually do? They reach through the bars to grab, right?
Yeah.
It came from the door, maybe came from behind the door. I don't know. But I just know that the door is behind that particular chair. So
wouldn't that be crazy if that door was an infamous, what's his name? The infamous, well, he's still alive, but
you're talking about Bernardo?
Yeah, Bernardo.
No, but he was at Kingston. He wasn't at Don Jail.
Paul Bernardo,
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was at Kingston. That's right. Sorry.
Yeah, Paul Bernardo was at Kingston, and said, going back to when I was trying to going through to be a correctional officer, my recruitment officer was one of the first people put in charge of Paul Bernardo. And yeah, so I mean, that 6 degrees of separation. It's weird how things are.
Yeah.
When we went for the tour, the first tour opening they had, they would not tell us which cell he was in, and they cited privacy reasons. I'm like, but he's not here now, right? What difference does it make? Why don't you tell us which cell he was in, considering he got relocated to a new jail?
Yeah.
You were earlier in this the year. I think we went later on.
I told you we were the first ones to snag the tour. Like as soon as they opened.
What month was it that you?
I can't remember the month, but I know we were the very first tour that they did right after they shut down the jail as a jail. The very first tour they did, we were the first ones there.
Well, I had put in a letter expedited from some people I know in the correctional system to investigate the Kingston. And it was all a go. It was all a go. And then at the last minute, all of a sudden, something just totally kiboshed it. I'm like, no, what are you doing, man? I would love to investigate the Kingston pen, So, but they're very tough. It was like that. I mean, we're so close to it, and yet so far away. So far away.
And can I ask, did you go to the museum across the street from it as well?
I went there. Did you guys? Did you guys go there, Alex?
No. We didn't get a chance to go to there. That wasn't part of the tour when the first time we went, but we got to see the location where they would have the conjugal visits.
Yeah.
Oh my.
It was in the complex, right? It was in the yard. Like they had these separate.
Romance is dead. Yeah.
Well, exactly. Romance is not dead. Not there anyway.
See, Dom's saying the same thing, So. Yeah, I mean, they're very tough. They're very tough, and I don't know what it is. I mean, I don't understand why they would allow you to, investigate it, and then all of a sudden, last minute cancel. Because I was dealing with two people I know that are not high up, but I mean, they're pretty well connected in that sort of scenario that could allow us to do, clear it, but.
Is that facility still owned by the province?
To the best,
I think they are. Are they not? They're still owned by the province, are they not?
Last I was there, they were. I could be wrong because it's been a few years. I think I was there like 3 years ago. Right, you know what? I was there in 2019, right before COVID.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you know what? I think we were there too. What year did you go for the tour, Alex?
Oh, I can't remember, dude.
2018? 2018?
Maybe even 2017, I would say.
Because I'm pretty sure it was the same year you guys went later. We went in October.
We went, well, like I said, we went earlier. We were the first one, so you would have gone after us. I don't know if it was the same year, though. Because we ended up going twice. We went, the first time it was just Lisa and I who went there, and it was... like I said, shortly after they closed it. I think it was the same year. I think they had closed it earlier in the year, and by towards the latter part of the year is when they started opening up those tours.
Yeah.
And we were one of the first people to get tickets. I just can't remember the year because, my memory's that great.
Well,
but, yeah.
It was a great tour. I would, like I said, it inspired me to try to do get an investigation organized, and unfortunately that didn't pan out last minute. But anyways, back to the Wade Manor. It always is full circle. Okay. So, Dustin, let everyone get all the info out there for everybody who's watching and listening on the New Visions Radio Network. How the best ways to get in touch with you, what they need to know while they're getting in touch with you to possibly tour the place or possibly investigate it, or whatever else.
Okay.
You said events too, right? You do events as well.
Oh, sure. I mean, I've had people contact me about photo shoots for exotic models. So I mean, like, I'm not going to say no to that.
No.
I'm going to be there to supervise. I want to make sure everything goes. Yeah. So when I typically would do tours, or I book tours, paranormal investigations, or whatever on weekends. So like Friday, Saturday, Sunday. During the week, I'm kind of doing all my merchandising, my media work, like, my social media work. So on my personal account, and also I'm very active on Instagram. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like, I go where the money is. Okay. Yeah. And a lot of people seem to be very interested in Instagram. So I'm heavily invested in Instagram.
Okay.
Although again, on Facebook, I have a page. It's called Wade Manor Haunted Museum. So yeah, you can reach me there as well. Instagram, I have two accounts. My personal account is Brother of the Dust, and there is a direct link to my business page, which is at Wade Manor Woodstock. So if you're going to do me a favor, follow both. Mm-hmm. Because I post back and forth, like an event's going on at the house on the business page, I'll make sure I link it to my personal page. I'm very active. When something's gonna happen, I'll tell you in advance.
Okay.
So merchandise sales. So you're never gonna be left in the dark, because I literally live with my phone, on my hip. So yeah, I also have YouTube as well. I don't do a lot of the YouTube because, again, I don't want to infringe on potential investigations. I don't want to feed the bulldog. I want them. Yeah. So I've kind of scaled back on that, but Instagram, at Wade Manor Woodstock, Wade Manor Woodstock. Sorry. And yeah, tours. Just message me. My phone number is up there as well. You want to text me directly. But mostly people choose to message me via Instagram and book tours like that. So typically they're Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I prefer to do them. Like if I have a tour group, like I got some people that work for Toyota, and they work really crazy hours. So they approached me a couple weeks ago and they said, could you break with tradition and do like a during the week tour? I said, for you guys, I would, because I know their hours are nuts, and they really want to see the place and they're excited. So I said, sure. So it's not etched in stone.
Yeah.
What you can do, tours and investigations and events, they don't run every weekend. So it's entirely possible. Like if you message me on a Tuesday and say, hey, listen, if you don't have anything going this weekend, can you fit me in? Sure. I'll work with you. I have the luxury of not being married and having kids. So, I'm more flexible with my schedule.
Yeah.
So I actively seek to keep it open. So yeah, typically Wade Manor is open for investigations, tours, or events. Investigations, I charge $75 an hour. And again, there's no limit. Like I know there's some people that have a flat limit. Like some places are like $1,500 overnight or $2,000. I'm seeing what's going down.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's great. I'll work with you. I mean, I understand that some people. So if you $75 an hour, you keep all your footage. Okay, you can post it and make sure you link me back and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's very simple, very simple. And again, when it comes to Instagram, Facebook, whatever, when you're messaging me on that is me. You're talking to me directly. I don't have anyone doing it. I'm a one-man operation. I do everything myself.
It's not the ghosts of the Wade Manor. It's Dustin. Yeah.
It's me.
It's Dustin. Yeah.
The hardest working guy in Woodstock. So
we're trying. You're gonna have a couple of people message you.
Yeah, you got a few people in chat. They're
I'll get back if I don't get back to them tonight. I'll get back to them tomorrow. So
yeah.
That's another thing. I'm very, very prompt with my messaging. I don't like to have any kind of delays because I mean. So yeah, it's
well, I know when I first reached out to you, it's like within minutes. I'm like, holy shit, that's cool, and so that was pretty cool.
I mean, that's how I was raised. I was raised in my time in the motorcycle industry. I saw a guy one time lose $25,000 on a bike sale because he was 5 minutes late getting the call.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like someone just snatched it up. So time is money, and I also understand that people have other things on the go. So, I try and be as courteous and timely in my responses and my inquiries, responding to my inquiries as much as possible. But again, keep in mind, I'm a one-person operation.
Yep.
So,
so it may take time, but you'll eventually get to it when you have the time. Yeah. That's awesome. You know what, man? It's been a blast. It's been a blast.
I had a blast. I'm sorry, it was a rough gig getting.
It's okay. We got through it. We got it done, and now you've got that out of the way. Do you feel better now?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have a really strong beer when this is all done and kind of unwind. But like that was my biggest thing because I was saying previously I'm a technology neophyte. I mean really, and I've had to learn so much. Like I've grown in leaps and bounds because of the house because I've had no say in the matter.
Yeah.
About the house and everything that goes along with it, right? So I've had to school myself, to go along with that. But, I try and, get it out there and try and be as tech savvy as my limited psychological capacity will allow me to, which is very limited. Like when I tell people, like when I bought my computer and I went into Apple, and I said to the kid, I said, "No, listen," I said, treat me like a trained chimp with a concussion. I got to be able to operate this thing like it's got to be so simple that, you talk slow so I understand. Talk very slow. Don't use $10 words in a $5 brain, okay? Because I'm not going to understand what you're saying. So.
Well, you know what? Well, we're just absolutely. We appreciate you being, us being the first show you've ever been on. So that is cool. And like I said, we can put like a little promo together and we don't have a problem doing that. And we'll play it during the breaks here. Give you more exposure as well. We don't mind doing that. Obviously, if there's anything we can help you out with, we'll certainly do it there, buddy.
And appreciate. And again, make sure you send me the address you want the stuff sent to and the sizes, and I will get them out sometime next week.
Sure, sounds good, man. And awesome. You know what? We'll definitely. You're welcome to the show. You're welcome back on. And if you have something coming on you want to talk about, just let us know.
Okay, I will. Yeah, I try and get this stuff out there as it comes. This month has been kind of slow. I had a tour group booked and they kind of backed out. The driver got sick, so it kind of the month has been kind of quiet. But October is going to be picking up. People are coming back. So and then we got the tour. We got the Woodstock Ghost Tours. We're starting up, so that'll be on the 22nd of this month and then the 28th. So we're trying to get people interested because we look at Kingston, we look at Ottawa, we look at Toronto. And I remember being a kid taking those early walks in Toronto to go, the haunted walk. I was thinking, we got to have something like that in Woodstock.
And Woodstock's a pretty historical place. It's got some historical aspects to it.
Well, I can't remember what particular what media outlet did it, but it listed Woodstock as one of the most historically preserved cities, smaller cities in Canada.
I mean, I look at that. What is it? That big ass flea market that used to be the Harvey Woods, whatever.
Yeah, one of a kind. So
one of a kind, man. That place is awesome.
I was in the other the other day, and you'd be surprised the stuff that I've found there.
Oh man, I love that place.
True story.
Yeah.
When I bought the house, I said I had just donated stuff, right?
Yeah.
Well, the one thing I went down to One of a Kind, and I found an old psychiatrist couch. It was like old riveted, leather bound. Okay.
Yeah.
I literally sleep on that. That was my bed. That was my
Wow.
bed. And I picked that out. That was the first thing I bought there. It's like, I can't afford. I got it for like $100. And I would, work on the house, and then it's like, okay, I got to take a nap because I'm tired. And I just pass it on that thing for like an hour, 2 hours, and wake up, and it's like, back to work I go. So, I mean, but I travel all over to buy stuff. I go to, I've been as far north as Barrie, Niagara Falls, Windsor, Kingston.
It's funny because some places, like I'm kind of like you, but I don't have the the mansion, if you will. But I love going, like if I go, like I go to the States quite often, and I go to small little towns, especially in the fall. I love going to the US in the fall, Michigan, New York State, whatever. And I will always try to find like an old antique place.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And some of these places, like I remember going into, we used to go to Frankenmuth, and there was this small little old antique place, and the place was actually huge.
Mm-hmm.
And some of the stuff that I bought there, like this army chest I told you about earlier, it's definitely pretty active. I'm not kidding you. This place has been pretty wild with this thing in here. But I mean, some of the chests that I've bought in this place, and just little knickknacks. It's just incredible what you can find in small little towns. It's incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Incredible.
And even like, when I was picking on a professional basis, and like you're doing estate sales and all that, I picked some places. I'd go into a place and go, you know what? I ain't so sure I'm coming out of this place.
Yeah.
It was like Robert Picton creepy, some of these
Oh,
farms.
yeah.
That I'm like, maybe there's not a good idea, but that's what you got to do. You got to be willing to go out there and get dirty and dig. And, it's, the thing is this, if you want to get into that, the stuff is not going to come to you.
No.
And you can't just have, like, if you go on Facebook Marketplace, the great Facebook Marketplace has this place.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can buy stuff online without leaving your house.
Yeah.
But there is no substitute for getting in there, getting dirty.
Absolutely.
And like, look, like I just found gold.
Yeah.
I just found gold, and this guy doesn't know what and sometimes you'll tell them, do you know what you have here? And they'll be like, I don't care. It was my grandfather's. I just want it gone.
I just want it gone. Yeah. Just give me money and shut up. Yeah.
Okay. If you just want it gone, I'll make it go away for you,
I know. That I love that feeling. I know you go into these places and you're like, wow, I can't believe this guy's selling this for this. I'm buying it. It's gone.
Well, the funny thing is that happened to me years ago when I was an active Shriner, and I purchased my first Shriner ring, and I bought it off this guy, and he goes, "Oh, it's my grandfather. It's my grandfather's." And I'm looking at this thing, and he goes, "Oh, it's got all cubic zirconias in it." And I'm looking at the ring. I'm looking at the age of the ring, and the shanks are all hand painted, so they're not, it wasn't, it wasn't digitized. It was all hand painted, very rudimentary. And I'm looking at the age of the ring, and I'm going, I'm betting dollars to donuts those aren't cubics. So I took the ring, I had it appraised, and I came back that day. Then I said to the guy, he goes, how much did you pay for this thing? I said, I spent $300 for it. He goes, I'll give you $5,000 right now.
Oh,
I'm like, what? He goes,
sure.
He goes, those are diamonds. Those are 16 diamonds in that ring. That's 14 karat gold, 16 diamonds from the Deco era. He goes, I'll give you $5. I'll give you, I was like, no, I appreciate it, but no, I mean, like, that's because, again, the story that goes with it, right? You can't make stuff like that up.
No, you can't. Holy crap.
I mean, some people don't know what they have, and they don't care, but, hey, and that's a great thing when you come to the house, which I guarantee you're going to be here. You can point to stuff, and my memory is still at that point where I can tell you 90% of the time the exact history, how I got it, where I got it, what I had to go through to get it. You know, I've had nightmare picks. I picked a church one time. They've been shuttered for 25 years. Oh my God. Black mold. And it was just, geez,
wow.
you know, yeah, it was a miserable pick. It was one instance. It was like, I got to get out of here, you know, like,
well, it's been a blast, my friend. It's been a blast.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. I'm glad we got all the kinks worked out and we finally got you. And I look forward to the next time, and we'll be chatting.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll time out then.
Yeah. Take care, Dustin.
Take care, Dustin.
Thanks for letting me visit. I'll talk to you soon.
Take care.
Okay.
Bye. I fucking love it, man. That place sounds really cool.
Yeah, we definitely got to check it out, man.
And I think doing a live on location would be awesome.
I think it would be. And if he's got that table / Ouija board, that'll be
there.
awesome.
That's the ticket. That's the selling point. That table.
To me, it is anyway.
Yeah, but
we got to get Gord out there so we can do it with him.
Yeah, but then you're gonna get the Gordisms, and he's gonna go, I don't believe this shit. What the hell? No, we'll make a believer out of him, right?
He's a negative Nelly.
Yeah, exactly. Negative Nelly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah. Oh, here we are. We kicked off season 17 with Dustin Wade. Thank you again for coming on. Next week, we're gonna have we're bringing back dark discussions, buddy.
I know. It's about
dark
time.
discussions. And guess what? A couple of people in chat are going to be with us. Cassie of Weeping Willow Paranormal is going to be here. Very first time. She's going to be on the show. She's going to be with us.
I guess Cassie just watched episode 4.
Well, she did. She knows Gord. She knows.
Oh, she did. Okay.
Yeah. Right. She knows Gord. Yeah.
Yeah. Gord's gold. Comedy gold.
Yeah, he's too much.
Yeah.
And we're still working on the rest of the panel. Of course, Jeff of Exploring Harley is going to be joining us as well. I'm like, do we want to make this an all Canadian paranormal roundtable? But I don't know. We'll see. But I think it's time we get some fresh new perspective going, Alex. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And then on the 22nd, the 22nd, we have Steve Higgins coming on all the way from the UK to talk about his new book, The Paranormal Encyclopedia. And he's got a TV movie too, he's got a movie called My First Ghost Hunters. Oh, hold on. My First Ghost Hunt, I think it's called. But anyways, he's skeptical. But the Paranormal Encyclopedia is incredible. Dude, take a look at it. It is so friggin' thorough, man. It's got everything in it. Everything.
I can't remember if I have one or not. I don't have his, but I have one.
I've got a couple encyclopedias, but wow. Like this has pareidolia. What is pareidolia? And he tells you exactly what pareidolia is. And let me tell you, pareidolia runs rampant in the paranormal. It really does.
Yeah.
It really does. It's so scary. That's scary. Scary. But yeah. So that's the next couple of weeks coming up on the show. More coming down the pipeline. New guests, more guests. And if you guys have any suggestions, by all means, let us know. Like, subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments. Don't forget to leave your comments. We want to hear what you guys think about the shows. And if you have any suggestions, recommendations, whatever, let us know.
Yeah.
Don't be bashful. Even if it's bad, who cares? We don't care. No, whatever. We just want to hear from you guys. That's what it's all about. So thank you for joining us tonight. Oh my God. Well, we got a couple more minutes to go, but thanks everybody for tuning in and watching us here on YouTube and Twitch. I don't think is anybody watching on Twitch. Whatever. But
no, it doesn't look like it.
no. But I want to thank everybody for watching. You know, people in chat. You know, Tom, Jeff, Cassie's there. Sue is there. Oh my God. Let me just. Simon tuned off, but Simon was there. Cheryl, all the way from Terry was there. Six all the way from Belgium, and Cheryl all the way from the UK. Australia. Australia.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she was listening or watching all the way from Australia. And B, Steven, and whoever else was in earlier. I want to thank you all for tuning in and watching the show. I want to migrate a lot of the people who are listening to the show on the New Visions Radio Network to YouTube and watch the full thing. Because now I think we've become more interactive with the YouTube channel, more so than ever. So guys, if you're listening on the New Visions Radio Network, you can continue. Go by all means, obviously. There's a crap load of you. The last time we ever checked, it was like close to 100,000,
something like that.
Live listeners every weekend. Like, come on out to the YouTube channel. But guys, take care. Thanks, and of course, thanks to Dustin Wade. Really appreciate it. Look forward to maybe finally getting out there and checking out the Wade Manor. Guys, go check out his YouTube channel, his Instagram, and everything else. Support him. Guys, support him. And until next Sunday night, take care, everyone. It's been a blast. Here we are, season 17 in full motion, guys. Take care. Have a good night.
Take care, everyone.
Later.